guys, I have missed you guys so much. I have not been on YouTube since May. Oh my god, you guys, so much has happened in my life. The latest achievement was that I passed my Women's Health Nurse Practitioner boards, if you guys didn't see on Instagram. So life has definitely been a journey for me since I've graduated from NP school back in August, and I'll probably share, you know, the things that I've gone through since I've graduated in another video, probably like a life update. I just wanted to create this video because I saw a lot of videos dealing with how to pass your FNP Family Nurse Practitioner boards, and I didn't see any videos on how to pass your Women's Health Nurse Practitioner boards. So this video is all about how I passed my Women's Health Nurse Practitioner boards on the first try. So this video will be very detailed, so go ahead, get your snacks, get your drinks, get your water, and come on in and sit down. So let's get to it. So let's talk about the test. So the test is created by the organization called the NCC, or National Certification Corporation. So this organization is the organization that certifies you as a women's health nurse practitioner. So with becoming a nurse practitioner, is levels to it. You have to get your certification, then you're able to apply for your license, then you have to get credentialed, and so on and so forth. So it's a very long process. So we're just focusing on getting certified as a women's health nurse practitioner right now. So the Women's Health Nurse Practitioner Certification Exam is 175 questions. So out of the 175 questions, only 150 of those are counted. So the other 25 questions are questions that they throw in there that they possibly will use on future exams. To be able to register for the certification exam, you have to graduate, of course, from an accredited Women's Health Nurse Practitioner program. After you graduate, your transcript has to be available. So you have to be able to send a transcript in to the NCC, and you also have to have a completion letter from your program saying that you completed your program, and this letter is usually created by the program director. So the cost of the exam is $325. This exam is very expensive, so you want to start saving your coins. There are so many costs that come with graduating nurse practitioner school. Once you turn all that into the NCC, they'll email you saying, hey, you're eligible to sign up for your test. And once you sign up for your test, you have a 3-month window to take your test. So if you get your eligibility in August, you have until November to take your test. So I got my eligibility at the end of August, and my testing window was, I want to say, from August 31st to maybe November 27th. I scheduled my test originally for October 16th, but I pushed it back because I was like, I'm not ready. So I officially took my test on November the 17th. So you have 30 days from your eligibility window to schedule the test. So if you are eligible to take the test starting August 31st, you have until the end of September to go ahead and schedule yourself for a test between that 3-month window. Hopefully I'm not confusing anybody. So they give you 2 test taking options. You can either take it at your traditional testing center, or due to the COVID-19 pandemic, you are able to take it at home with live remote proctoring. I decided to take it at home with live remote proctoring. I don't regret taking my exam at home and doing the live remote proctoring, just because with the testing centers, there was always a risk that they might have shut down if maybe one of the employees contracted COVID, or you just never knew. So I was like, I feel like the safest option is for me to take it in the comfort of my own home. So with the NCC Women's Health NP Certification Exam, you do not get your test results immediately. I know in the past you knew as soon as you took the exam whether you passed or not, but due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and they also came out with a newer version of the test earlier this year in April, so you'll get your results back within 15 days of taking the test. But some of my classmates who took the test in early September did not get their results, I want to say, until maybe early October. I think that was the tough part, not knowing immediately, because I know people who I knew in other NP specialties, you know, with their exams, they always know, they knew immediately whether they passed. And then with being a women's health NP and taking our certification exam, it's like you gotta wait until you have to wait for your results. I feel like waiting was the worst part. Waiting was harder than the actual exam. So now that we've moved through the basics of the test, so the test content. So all the questions have a STEM and 3 answer choices. There are no true and false. There's no select all that apply. Every question has a STEM and only 3 answer choices. So the actual exam breakdown, so 35% of the exam will be your gynecology and reproductive content. 29% will be your obstetrical content. 12% will be primary care. 12% will be assessment, diagnostic test, interpretation. 9% will be pharmacology, and 3% will be professional issues. With the test breakdown, you see that your major content comes from obstetrics and gynecology. So the big question is, how did I study for the NCC Women's Health NP certification exam? I will say my main resource is the Fitzgerald text. If you don't hear anything else that I say from this video, Fitzgerald is the answer. If you want to pass your test on the first try, you need to get Fitzgerald. So with Fitzgerald, they send you a workbook that goes along with modules. So they have about 24 modules that cover each of the content area that you're going to see on your exam. The Fitzgerald review course is pretty pricey. It costs $389. But always make sure you look online for coupons. They may have like 20% off, 25% off. You just have to look. I will say it was worth every penny though. Even though it was pretty expensive to me, it was worth every penny. I credit me passing the exam to Fitzgerald. So with Fitzgerald, you have 24 modules. At the end of each module, you have a quiz. And then once you complete all your modules and quizzes, you have an actual 175 question exam. I was going through the Fitzgerald test, and then when I took the actual certification exam, I was like, have I seen these questions before? I love that Fitzgerald asks the questions in the format that NCC does. So with the STEM and then the 3 answer choices. And I also love Fitzgerald because it was simple and straight to the point. That's all I wanted, something simple and straight to the point. I didn't want something that was super detailed. Just tell me what I need to know to pass this test. So I spent about 1 month going through the Fitzgerald modules with the workbook. I actually made flashcards for each module, so that took me a little longer as well when I was studying. But if you guys don't know, flashcards are the only way that I'm able to like retain information. Like I have to make flashcards. There's no way around me passing without making flashcards. So my secondary study resource was the Kelsey Workbook. The Kelsey Workbook ran me about $75. I used a $25 off coupon. I would say the Kelsey book was too detailed for me. I would say this is a great book to use in your women's health nurse practitioner programs. I just primarily use the Kelsey textbook just for the test questions. So with the Kelsey questions, so you have a STEM question and then you have 4 answer choices, which is not like how the NCC exam is, but these are good questions to test your knowledge. And I also would look through the Kelsey book if there was something in Fitzgerald that I really wanted more information about. So I'll say Kelsey is just for practice questions. If you want a second resource, I'll use the Kelsey book, but I would just use it for practice questions. But my primary resource, primary way of studying that I feel you'll be successful with is the Fitzgerald online content with the workbook to match. I will say, you guys, I started to seriously study on September the 12th. I kind of took a break, about a month and a half break after I graduated, to just relax and not focus on anything school related. I do regret waiting too long to take the test. I feel like after I took the test, I was like, wow, I probably could have took this test way sooner instead of like putting it off. But I mean, hey, I took it when I was supposed to and I passed, so that's all that matters. And also something else that I used to study, so I want to say maybe mid-October, NCC posted that they would have a preview test. So it's a 30-question test that mimics the NCC Women's Health NP certification exam. It's just a 30-question test so that you can see the type of format and the type of questions that NCC would ask you on the certification exam. I will say that was one perk of me waiting to take until November, because the people that took it in like August and September, NCC didn't roll this preview test out until October, so they didn't have access to that. So I really enjoyed answering those questions. I'm very appreciative that NCC came out with a preview test. Hopefully they keep the preview test on the website. I know the preview test that I took, it expires December 31st of this year. So hopefully they have something for next year. The preview test was really helpful. That cost an additional $35, but I didn't mind paying that. So test day. So I signed up for my test. So I pushed it back from October 16th to November 17th because my testing window closed November 27th. So after November 27th, if I hadn't taken the exam, I would have had to pay the $325 all over again and had to pick another date. So I was like, Ashley, you got to take this test November 17th. You are more than ready. Vanderbilt has prepared you well for the exam. Fitzgerald has prepared you. All your classmates are passing. You got this. So I scheduled my exam for November the 17th at 12:30. So I woke up that day around 7 a.m. I ate a good breakfast, of course, and I just went through the Fitzgerald book and just reviewed everything. I reviewed the practice questions in Kelsey, just skimming over everything, just real quick, just as a refresher for me. So they allow you to log on 30 minutes before your exam time. So when I logged on at 12 noon, I ran into technical difficulties. So with my live remote proctoring, which is something that we used at Vanderbilt, I was very familiar with that. With the live remote proctoring that was used for the certification exam, it would not let me log on. So of course I was on my computer just typing away, I guess chatting to the technical support team and letting them know, hey, I'm running into technical difficulties, will I still be able to take my exam? And they was like, yeah, yes you will, but you have to contact the company who runs the live remote proctoring. So long story short, I was able to get into contact with that company, and we had to create a whole new user profile on my MacBook, and that way I logged into that new user profile and I was able to download live remote proctoring, and then I was able to finally get into the exam. But once I was, you know, getting into the exam, so you have a proctor during the exam that's watching you on your webcam. Of course you can't see them, but they can see you. So I had problems. I was waiting for my proctor to come to my exam and nobody came, so I had to log out again, then log back in. It was very stressful. Like, you do not want to have to deal with that when you're taking one of the biggest exams of your life. But thankfully I pushed through, because I was like, I'm not taking this exam any other day because of technical difficulties. We're gonna get this stuff straightened out so I can take this exam. So my best advice to you would be the day before the exam, make sure your remote proctor is working if you're taking the exam from home, and if it's not working, then that way you'll be able to sort out your issues before your day of the exam. So you have 3 hours to take the 175 question test. It took me about an hour and a half to take the test. Also on my exam, I did have a few questions with pictures on them, which was very shocking to me. I wasn't expecting to get pictures on the exam, but still, it was a STEM question with a picture and 3 answer choices. I thought the test was easier than the Nclex to me. You know, with the Nclex, it seemed like every question you got right, you would get a harder question. You had select all that apply, true and false. They were just throwing, sorry, I had to prop my phone up. They were just throwing everything at you. I felt that this exam was even easier than my women's health didactic courses. So my women's health 1 and 2 class, like, I'm like, wow, this exam, I hyped this exam up to be more than it actually was. Like, my emotions were tied into the exam. I was not feeling like myself. I kept telling I hate that I kept telling myself, like, okay, my life begins after I pass this exam. Like, I just had so much wrapped into this one exam, and I just don't want anybody else to be like that. The worst part was definitely waiting on my test results. So I took the exam on Tuesday, November 17th. My results came Wednesday at 2 in the morning on November 25th. So NCC usually updates their website at 2 in the morning on Wednesdays. Now, remember how I told you my classmates that took the exam earlier in September, they didn't find out their results until maybe late September, early October. I only had to wait a week for my results. My friend who took her exam on Sunday, November the 9th, she found out her results, you know, on that Wednesday. So it really just depends on the day you take your test. I will say, I feel like if you take your test a month out from the popular graduation months, which are May, August, and December, you'll probably have to wait a while. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I did check the NCC website every day, even though I know that my scores would be coming on a Wednesday. I was like, let me just check to make sure, because you just never know. They might update it earlier. But no, they came on Wednesday at 2 in the morning. I had an alarm set and everything. And I can tell you, when I saw those letters behind my name, oh my God, I cried. When I saw my certificate saying Ashley, Women's Health NP Board Certified, tears just came to my eyes, because so much was wrapped into this one test. And I'm telling y'all, please do not do this. Please, even though you have to study, I want you to live your life. Do not wrap your emotions, your whole life around this exam. Because, I mean, yes, if you fail it, you'll have to take it again, but oh well, just take it again. I was just so fixated on this exam, like, literally couldn't enjoy my life until I took this test. And I don't want anybody else to experience that feeling, because it's not a good feeling. And it honestly felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulders until I took this exam. And I'm telling you guys, it's not a good feeling. It is not a good feeling at all. So with the results that they mail you, they'll let you know whether you passed or failed. So with each exam content area, they also let you know whether you scored, whether you were very weak, average, strong, or very strong. Shockingly, I got very strong in all exam content areas. Of course, I'll insert a picture of what I'm talking about. And just because you get weak or average in one area of exam content does not mean that you fail. How they score the exam is based off of the number of questions you get right. You're not penalized for the questions you get wrong. The only questions that count are the questions that you get right. So you want to get as many questions right as possible. Thank you guys so much for watching and sticking through this whole video with me. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.